Alright, so this is my final project for CS 4900. So for my project, I decided to try and recreate a game that I really enjoy, which is Rocket League. Essentially, it's just cars playing soccer, and I'll go ahead and get into the specifics of my project. So you can see sort of the playing field and arena here. You have player one down here, player two's over here, and I'll get to Y in a second. And you have the ball, the goal that player one scores on, the goal that player two scores on, and the scoreboard. So I have player two over here for the purpose of this demo, so I can show player one's car going and trying to score on this goal to show off how the scoreboard works. Now, this is not originally how I planned on having the scoreboard set up. I was going to use a GUI, but I mentioned some technical difficulties in my blog post that required me to switch back to the Rust virtual machine, which doesn't allow for GUIs. So I'm working with what I have, and you'll see that the scoreboard does work. It doesn't look as nice as a GUI, but it still works, and you're able to tell who scores and when. So player one is right here, and player two is this orange box here. And I will go ahead and show off some vehicle physics before I get into more of a gameplay demo. So I'll work with player two's car over here because you can kind of see uh, all the full range of motion of the vehicle. So the right arrow applies a torque to the car so it turns to its right. Left arrow applies a torque so it turns to its left. The down arrow moves the car in reverse with respect to its local x-axis. Right shift works as a brake, and the up arrow moves the car forward with respect to its local x-axis. Okay, and so for player one's car, the keys are D to turn to the right, A to turn to the left, W to move forward, S to move in reverse, and X works as that brake. Okay, so now I will attempt to move the car into position to score a goal and show off how the physics work and the gameplay. So you see that the ball and the vehicles do interact with each other. They're all rigid dynamic bodies. And so after a goal is scored, uh, if player one scores, then player one's score is reflected accurately on the scoreboard, and the same will happen for player two. So now I'll just try and score with player two to show that that works as well. So I will move player one out of the way here and get player two set up so that it can score a goal. And so you can see that both vehicles will interact with the ball, not just player one's vehicle. So if I can sort of speed up here and just try and get the ball going. Okay, ball should be in, and there you go. So that's all for this project. Um, Again, technical difficulties were kind of an issue here. Wasn't really able to do everything that I wanted to. However, it did end up at least working. You are able to score goals. Player wins by scoring 3 goals. Whoever's first to 3 wins. Whenever a player wins, nothing like fancy happens. The scoreboard just shows the 3 to whatever the other score is. Um, Overall, wasn't able to complete the full scope that I originally anticipated, but with those technical difficulties in mind, I was still able to produce the game and have a scoreboard show the accurate score so that you can keep track and see who wins the game. So overall, the project works, and that's all I got.